Started out my day like any other rest. 'Cause I just keep on staring, man, they cause me some distress. They keep on staring, and I just roll my eyes inside. But they just keep on staring, 'cause my head ain't by my side. The little boy at the store, looking for his score.
Good morning. Welcome to the M25 Show. It is Thursday once again, and how's everybody doing? Hello, Michael Schwartz. How you doing? Good to see you. I appreciate all the support. Always see all your posts all the time. Means a lot. I hope your music is going well and all that good stuff, and the family's good and all that good stuff too. Today I am going solo today, so the show must go on. We got a guest on today. That's going to be a good interview, so stick around. And like I said, today is, if I get the date right, April 6th, 2023, Thursday. My name is Steve, and this is the M25 Show. And we got some stuff to talk about. We got a guest interview, and it's just going to be me rolling solo today. So, let me see here. What do we got going on here? Our guest should be coming on at any moment. So, I was going to talk about this Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch thing that I heard about. What does everybody think about that? I heard about it, and I'm like, okay. It's not because it's the what they're standing behind and all that. That has nothing to do with it. But I don't know, when you start putting stuff on a product that's well known. I don't know. I feel kind of weird about that. It's like if I go to a store and I want to get a beer. I want a beer. I don't want something on there that's promoting something that I don't know. I think it should promote the beer, not promote like the M25 Show or they or she or whatever. And I have no problem with that. With transgender and gay people and so on and so on. I don't have a problem with that, but when you start putting it on products and stuff like that, I don't know. That's kind of a rough one because I don't know. It's like promoting it is what it is. It's like I don't think you should promote something if that's what you are, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't think you need to promote it. And just like if I'm going to go buy a beer, I don't go and buy a beer that says manly beer or I'm a straight guy beer. I go to buy a beer, and that's plain and simple. I don't want to be holding a can up that says, my name is Steve, I'm straight, and I'm a manly man, and I want everybody to know while I'm holding this can or bottle of beer. But I just don't understand that, and I don't know. It's almost like it's a product. I don't know. This is a very strange thing, and the way things are today, you have to be careful what you say because, if you say the wrong thing, you get get put through the ringer, even though if you don't mean any harm by talking about it. But you should be able to talk about it. Like I said, I don't know why I don't know. I don't get it. Like I said, if you're drinking something, if you want to drink a beer, you want to drink a Coors Light, a Bud Light, or Heineken, what I go look for is I go look for a Heineken. I don't want a Heineken that says, go eat at Joe's, or this is a straight man's beer, or, www. The M25 Show. I want the beer that I'm buying. So, I don't know. I know a lot of people have a problem with it, and a lot of people don't have a problem with it. It's like, is there a right or wrong? I don't think so, but when you really, really look at it, and you go buy a Budweiser or a Bud Light or what other, there's so many Budweiser, margarita Budweiser. I mean, that's what you're going to buy. I mean, it's almost like you're going to hold a can up, and let's say I think I saw some of the can, they look like rainbows, and it says he, they, she, or what have you. And, me personally, if I'm going to buy a beer, I don't know if I want to hold that up and be, promoting that. I mean, I want to promote what I'm drinking, a Bud Light or a Budweiser. I don't know. It's almost like, and I know they got enough money where they can lose a lot of people from, they don't really dig that, I guess. And I don't know. Hello, Jeff. How's it going? What do you think about this this Anheuser-Busch Bud Light thing that they're promoting the transgender, I believe, to transgender. They're plastering it all over their cans and bottles now. There's a lot of people that don't like it. There's a lot of people that they go, "Oh, what's wrong? If you don't like this, and there's something wrong with you," and it basically goes to the old political thing. The political thing. Oh, if you don't agree with them plastering that all over their beer cans and beer bottles, you're a dumb Republican. And if you like it, or you're all in favor of it, you're a Democrat. That's the way I see it. It shouldn't have nothing to do with that. I mean, I'm like I said, if I want to go and go to the liquor store and get me a cold beer, I go and I look for beer because it says beer on it. I don't want to hold a beer up that says something that I'm like, oh, what is this? Like I said, either way, I don't want to get a beer that says I'm a straight guy, I'm a manly man, so everybody can know, I am what I am, whether I'm straight, gay, whatever, that's for me. I'm drinking a beer. Heavy duty. That's all I got to say. Like I said, you have to be careful, especially, unless, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. Unless you're like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Put all that stuff on there. It's all good. If you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. Then it's okay. It seems like the world today, if you agree with that side, you're okay. But if you don't agree with it, there's something wrong with you. And there's, my opinion, there's nothing wrong. If you don't agree with it, there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, drink something else. There's people out there that go, hey, I'm not going to drink Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch, period. I'll go to drink Coors Light. Coors. Michelob. Kessler. Drink the hard stuff, It's easy as that. I saw something funny on social media the other day. that said in 2 days, um, Anheuser-Busch Bud Light made more people quit drinking than AA did in 50 years. So I thought that was kind of funny. And it's okay to laugh about it, you know. Some people get hurt that they're, oh, you can't say that. You know what? Anybody can say what they want as long as they're not hurting anybody. And yeah, I know you're going to say, well, then you can put stuff on cans and promote, you know what, they can, but a lot of people don't see why, you're already promoting what you got on the can. You're going to buy a beer. I guess if you're a trans, or what was Jeff saying? It's trans gay. Oh yeah, trans gay and or whatever. They're promoting it on the thing because they want to get behind them and support them, and that's all good. But if you're gay, transgender or whatever, you can wear a shirt or something. I mean, Budweiser, I know you mean well, but I mean, you we're in a day and age where it's okay now to do that stuff. I don't know. It's just you just turned your beer into a billboard for other things, and I don't know. Henry, what do you think about all this? Do you think about the Anheuser-Busch Bud Light um, with the new cans and bottles for the transsexuals and is that okay? When they say they, them, him or her, is that a trans gender thing, or is it just somebody who just don't want to be labeled anything because it's such a big I could be what I want, so I'm just gonna say I'm they. So I could be everything. I can be a boy, I could be a girl. I mean, man, woman, this, that. White Claw. Well, I don't even know what the hell a White Claw is. What is that? Is that like today's age of a wine cooler? I know I always see jokes about if you drink White Claw. I don't even know what White Claw is. What is that? Was that a wine cooler? Was that like the old Bartles and James wine coolers, or is it a vodka? I don't know. Okay, Henry, our dear friend Henry, I don't necessarily have an opinion on it, but I do think that it should be separate. Yes, there's nothing wrong with saying that either. And I will say this, a lot of people won't give their opinion about it, even though if they have one, because of what people will think of them. Like they go, that's why I said it out front. I don't understand it. When I go buy beer, I go buy a beer. It says beer on it. If I want a walking billboard, I don't know if I want that, but it's okay to give your opinion. I don't think that's right, or I think it's cool. It's okay. It's okay to say that, but you shouldn't be scared to say it because you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong. If you have an opinion about something, if you feel a certain way, as long as you're not hateful about it, a lot of people can say, well, I don't like this Anheuser-Busch thing, the Bud Light cans putting on this because I hate them, or I hate, now that's wrong. But if you just don't agree with it, you just say, well, I don't agree with it. When I grab a beer, I want a beer. I don't want to be holding up the things with all kinds of stuff on it saying this and that. Nothing wrong with saying that. But if you say it in a hateful way, then that's when you start getting into a thing where that's not right. And that's why I said, how I felt about it. And there's nothing wrong with that, Anyway, I wanted to get that out of the way because we got a cool interview coming up. And it's actually in the green room. Let me see. Henry says, it just gives our society another thing to debate. You will have some people that are positive and then there'll be some that will be negative and choose not to purchase the beer based on the hidden message. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Would I buy a Bud Light now? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, when I go buy a beer, I go buy a beer. Like if I want to buy a Heineken, I go buy a Heineken. I don't go buy a Heineken because it says this or that and all that good stuff. But anyway, we got an interview to get to, and we'll continue this after a bit. So, Henry, Jeff, thanks for giving your 2 cents about it. Okay, we got our guest in the waiting room. Actor, producer, and director Sheri Davis. We're going to pull her out right now. Hello, Sheri.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Let me see here. Sheri Davis. You got a lot of things going on right now.
I always have a lot of things going on.
A lot of things going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you? I know you're an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to. Are you in horror movies? Are you into different types of movies?
So I'm in all kinds of things, including a few television things I've done as well, which I actually had an audition for something very 80s today, which is why my hair is like this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, I'm definitely known more for horror films, for, the horror genre. And just completely, just like I fell into acting. I mean, it was just like a complete thing that happened, not something I planned. I didn't say, oh, I'm going to be an actress and I'm going to be a scream queen and I'm going to work in horror films. It just happened that way. So, and
how did it happen? How did all this come about that you got into this business?
My now adult daughter was a child actor. Oh, so, cool. and my ex was an actor as well. So I kind of was being, in a way, kind of a manager. I was always answering the emails. I was planning the auditions. I was, looking for the best acting classes and going to those. And then I was on a set one day, and the actress playing my daughter's mother, there was an incident and she didn't make it in from LA, and we were filming in Dallas, and I was on set literally cleaning pizza boxes and picking things up and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they were like, are you background? Are you an actor? Like, what's your story? And I was like, no, I'm just her mom. And at the time, like, I was so self-conscious. Like, I could have never imagined I would ever be an actor, like ever, ever, ever. And so, yeah, lo and behold, call her agent, and the rest is history. I mean, he just, the director and the AD pulled me aside. He just said, just don't look at the camera. Whatever you do, just don't look at the camera, because they were so stressed out, already. Uh-huh. So, yeah, I completely fell into it. The thing is, though, I kind of, I had been on set and kind of would do background, and it was bigger budget things. It wasn't like indie film. So I had already learned a lot. Plus, anything I become involved in, I study. Like, I'm one of those, like, I don't half-ass anything. So I had, when I couldn't be in most of the acting classes with my daughter, I would sit right outside of the room in a chair, and I would be taking notes, and because I worked with her so much, I think and then she just one day woke up and said, I don't want to do this anymore. So she was out. Yeah. And my boyfriend had been really, really pushing me. Like, he was like, you either need to be an agent or you need to go for this and do this. And I was like, well, I'll be an agent. Like, that's more me, manager, like juggle a bunch of things, like whatever. And I kept, I would get sent an audition and I would get cast over like people who'd been doing this a long time. So the agent was like, your hair's too dark, or your look's too hard, or you need to change this. And I was like, but I'm booking, you're making money off of me. Exactly, and I think it became like that agent just wasn't a match for me, because she had her favorites. And I think it was because I fell into it and stumbled and started kind of having a little bit of success right off the bat. I think it just didn't mesh well, Yeah. So I did everything she told me not to do, and it worked. And so she was like, I don't think you need me. And I was like, yeah, I don't really think I need you either, because you're not very supportive.
Yeah, well, yeah, that doesn't help when they're not supportive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just, you feel it, and we just parted ways. We run every once in a blue moon. I run into her. We're very cordial. It's just something that didn't work out. But I know for a fact that she never thought I would get as far as I have. Never, and you know what? Like I tell people all the time, my haters are my biggest motivators. So
Yeah, that's how it usually works, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how it all started. It was
That's how it all
crazy.
started.
Yeah.
Well,
But the thing that was kind of crazy too, real quick, was like my daughter was doing she was doing modeling and print work, and she was doing more television right out the gate and commercials and stuff. And then my ex, he was the same way. He was doing a lot of print work and a ton of commercials. And so he never even broke into film. Like he literally was auditioning for Twilight, one of the Twilight movies. And he was like, I don't know, it's something, I'm playing a wolf. And like, when I saw who played that role, I was like, first of all, my daughter and I knew Twilight. We read the books, taken her. And I think it was the second one. I can't remember, but he was like, I was like, babe, that's Twilight. Like that's
it's a big one, big movie right there.
He didn't want to do the work. He didn't want to study. He didn't want to audition. He didn't want to do the work. So, and then I immediately loved film, television's okay too. It's just, they're two different animals. But I love film. So
film's your thing, right?
It is. I love it. I'm not opposed to television, but I definitely love the whole process of filmmaking. It's like my favorite.
Very cool. Do you see how we just jumped into everything before I introduced myself and introduced our show? See, no, that's what I want to do. I wanted to make you feel like you are the star in this movie today. That's what I do. But my name's Steve, and this is the M25 Show. And thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you,
and
Steve, for having me.
wanted to throw you out there too, to let everybody get a taste of who you are and how you got into it. And I know you have something going on.
Crazy.
Some kind of indigo project, or
yeah.
Why don't you talk about that one? Yes.
Hair. I'm struggling with this whole 80s thing.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Okay. Before we talk about what is this 80s thing? What are you doing? Are you?
I can't say because it's an audition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't say. This is like my high school hair here. It's interesting. I usually have straight hair and it's curled or whatever. So yeah.
High school dance stuff
in the camera, like wow. But yeah.
Well, you look good.
Thank you.
Okay, so we were going to talk about your project. Your guys are working. Is this your project that you're doing, or you're involved in?
So I came in as a producer as well. Initially, this was kind of a fluke too. Chase Dudley, the director, had done a post, and I don't even remember what the post was, but it was something that sparked my interest. And I just kind of shot a message out there. We started chatting back and forth. And I think we had always kind of been on each other's radar on and off over the years through social media. Like we knew who each other was, because that's how this whole community is. Acting community is actually a small world. And, and even more so if you're kind of into horror. So we knew who each other was. We'd kind of been on each other's radar on and off for years. And we really, really hit it off. We talked and we were on the phone forever. And then he started talking about the script, and he had been trying to get this made for a couple of years and whatever. And I was like, well, I would love to read it. Like, if you're comfortable with it, like send me an NDA. Maybe I can help you, that kind of thing. And I was really looking for something that I felt passionate about doing. I don't feel like I've had anything. I mean, I've had some great, I know they say there are no small roles, but they were small roles. They weren't anything that kind of, could show my acting ability. Like I did one film that I was directed to play very campy, and it's the way it was. I did what I was directed to do. But, at this point in my career, it's fun to do those every once in a while, but it just wasn't really the thing I was looking for. So when I read the script, I was like, holy shit. I mean, I literally just kept repeating it. I was like blown away by the script. Like I was like, and then on top of that, the role of Sarah, who is the mom and the wife in the movie, I was like, oh my God, like whoever is getting to play this character, like I'm so jealous, like so freaking jealous. And so I messaged and I was like, well, I first of all loved the script, whatever. We went back and forth. We talked a lot, and he knew I was like super excited, which got him excited. And then I was like, I want to be involved in this. Like, even if, if I come in helping produce, but I got to ask, have you cast that lead role?
Sarah, right?
And I fit the role. Like I fit the role. I fit the age range, the look with a couple of the actresses he was looking at to play my daughter. We matched up really well. And he was like, well, as a matter of fact, I haven't. Are you interested in doing that? And I was just like, completely freaked out, So the rest is history, as they say, So now we are months later, and we have an Indiegogo. That's what you were mentioning, that is still been running. And kind of how it works is you kind of really go all out and push the first 30 days. And then after that, people are kind of tired of hearing about it. They're tired of seeing you post about it. So then you just kind of lay back, you take a little break. But that the Indiegogo is still going, and Chase is working really, really hard behind the scenes, still promoting. I've backed off a little bit because I have other things going on. And I told him, I was like, but even having actors that push the Indiegogo is not something that happens a whole lot. Usually they kind of leave that to the producers and the director. So, he's been super grateful for that. And I've brought in quite a bit of money on that. And if I didn't bring it in myself, I gave him the contacts, and most of those worked out really, really well. So still going, we're at a little over 40,000 on that.
Very cool.
But
has anything started on it, or do you have to wait till you guys have all the funds and everything you need to start?
No, we have everything in place. So we start filming the end of June. We have exact dates, locations. Everything's been locked in for a while. So everything's good to go. We filmed the end of June into July. And we're filming kind of in the Nashville area. It's a place in northern Kentucky. So we're filming in that area. So he's had all the locations. He had already locked in and knew where he wanted to shoot, and he'd already met and done all of that very, very quickly before we even started the Indiegogo. He had all of that locked in. And then his wife, Samantha Dudley, is like, every time I interview, I'm like, they're like the perfect couple as far as like totally opposite, as far as like, she is that type A paperwork, organization, computer work, like, a little, probably to the point of OCD, which is not a bad thing when you're doing those things. And then Chase is kind of a jokester and likes to make people laugh. And he's kind of, like the people person, talks to everybody, out raising the money and, putting the cast and crew together and that kind of thing. So she's the one working really hard behind the scenes.
And that's a good, what do you call it? That's good.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, anytime you ask a question, like I'll ask him something, he'll go, oh no, that's Samantha's, like, she'll kill me. Like if I even step into that, she'll kill me, And so it's funny how they do that. Or I'll say something to her and she'll be like, oh no, that's Chase.
She knows too, right?
So we'll be on like a three-way messenger and literally I'll be like at Chase and Samantha will be like, yeah, that's definitely Chase. I can't answer that or whatever. So it's really cute. The way they work together really well,
That's really cool. Before I asked about the name of the movie and all that, there's a Dawn Hinton on that says, "Hi Sheri, great hair day." Oh, I thought I'd shoot that out real quick.
Hey Dawn, thanks for being on. Yeah, crazy hair day is right. Great hair day. Okay.
So the name of this movie. So this is your movie. This is the movie. This is what you wanted, right? You wanted that basically the lead where you can do your thing and not just a small piece.
I haven't played a lead in quite a while, which is crazy because I started out doing leads almost right out of the gate. And then I just, got busy with life. I mean, I wasn't auditioning as much just because I had to focus on, I have 2 daughters and living in LA and getting, kind of set up in LA and having a normal life as well. Cause I don't feel like this is a normal life, this business at all. So yeah, I kept doing indie film because indie film, I didn't even have to audition. People would just reach out to me and say, I have a role, read the script, see if you're interested, So I still, like I said, I've really gotten into auditioning again lately because I was also working a lot of crew. And as crew, it's super long hours, and especially for me, because I'm a set medic and a COVID compliance officer and supervisor. So for me, I have to be first on, usually with the AD and some main crew members. I would have to be first on, especially if I was testing. And then I have to be out with tail lights after breakdown. So my days can be,
long
16 hours every single day, day in and day out. Plus afterwards, you're still communicating with people. Like maybe someone else is flying in and you have to test them before they go to set. So I got really busy during COVID with working big budget sets with those 2 things. And then that definitely, there weren't as many productions, but the ones I was on paid really, really well to work crew because I was really in demand in that sense.
Very cool. Can you talk the name of the movie and
yeah, so the name of the movie that we're about to shoot the end of June is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And
that's nice. That's a catchy Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
A good girl's guide to murder. And we have a Facebook page. We have an IMDb page if you're interested in seeing who some of the cast members are. So it's great. I love that I feel like it's definitely more psychological thriller, drama, suspense with horror elements in it. So that's the thing is like with Indiegogos, they tend to be more successful with horror genre films. Okay. And that's why, I was like, we do have that. And actually now that the script has kind of been tweaked to fit some of the perks that were added. It's leaning even more towards that horror genre now, but it still has all of the original stuff. Like it's still totally like a psychological thriller.
Is there any, I got to ask, is there any like blood and all that? There's
lots of blood.
Oh, okay. So is there some gore in there or what? Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, the basic concept of the film is I play Sarah. Bill Oberst Jr. plays my husband, Frank. And, I married him very, very young. He was older. He was very charming in some way to me. He did something to get me. And I come from a very prominent family and was kind of, forced to marry him. And because of circumstances and fast forward and he's not a great man and some bad things start happening to our daughter. And, I come from a place of trauma, my character does. And then that trauma kind of continues with my daughter. So the result of her not being treated for that trauma escalates into what begins to happen throughout the movie.
I get it. So you're the good girl, I take it, right? You might be the good girl that things go a little crazy.
Gotta watch the movie.
Gotta watch the movie. So when do you think this movie will be done?
So I might be wrong by saying this.
A guesstimate.
I think he's hoping for November, but I may be wrong. I just because I mean the whole process, typically a movie will come out about a year, I would say, after it's made. So I would look for, depending on just how fast it goes through post-production. I mean, okay. I personally would say 6 months to a year, but I mean, I'm not involved in post-production. That's going to be totally, whatever Chase and Samantha do on that. As far as distribution and video on demand and all of those outlets. And who knows, we may do at least a limited theatrical release. We'll just have to see what happens,
Very cool. These two, do they have a Facebook page or anything that people can go follow?
So
What?
we have our Facebook page, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, for the
Okay,
movie.
a good.
And then Chase Dudley is his Facebook page, and Samantha, I want to say Samantha Marie Dudley. It's something like that, but Samantha Dudley, regardless.
Okay.
And you can see, you'll know it's them. I think he's got a picture with Chucky on his from a con recently, and then hers, I think, has the background for A Good Girl's Guide to Murder on it. So I
Yeah,
mean,
those names sound familiar.
yeah.
They do.
So they're great. And then I have like one of my good friends I've worked with quite a bit, BJ Mezek, has joined us as well. I'm super excited to be working with him, and we get some screen time together, which is great because we've never had screen time together. We've worked on so many movies, and he's been a unit production manager as well as an actor and a producer. And I've worked alongside him with several films, but I've never got to act on camera with him. So I'm like, I think we're both super, super excited about that. We were both like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And we've, I've got it planned. Like we're going to be doing Zoom calls to like run our scenes and things like that. So that's super exciting. And just having him on board anything is a huge asset because he has so much that he brings to the table. So he knows how to run a set, and he knows how to get things done. So it's great. We don't have him for very, very much on this film, 2 or 3 days, but just those 2 or 3 days he'll be there will be amazing to have him there and have him involved.
Wow, I could see how excited you are about this project.
I'm so excited.
That's cool.
I've said over and over. And and the cast, I mean, the cast that Chase has put together is just absolutely like dream cast, like seriously dream cast. It's not about the names, quote unquote. It's a matter of the acting ability of every single person on this main cast, and just the meshing the connections we already have, because we are constantly on social media, and we have private, I've said over and over, I created like a private messenger with the girls that are in the film, the girl that plays my daughter, Ariana Harris, her mother, Diane, Johnny Shandor that plays young Lily, the young version of my daughter,
Yes.
Johnny, her mother, Marcella, her dad is a special effects makeup artist, and now Marcella is our unit production manager. Like it's amazing. And then Kelly Opsel, her daughter Kylie Opsel, plays Lily's friend, her best friend in the movie. And so, and like I said, even the physical appearance to have us be able to look similar, it's cast very well in that way as well. You don't have like a character and you're like, wow, that girl's blonde hair and blue eyed, and the parents look like this, and she doesn't look like her parent. You know what I'm saying?
Totally opposite. I know what you're saying.
You have a character that kind of looks like at least one of the parents, So, and then for Johnny to play the young version of her, I mean, it's just phenomenal casting, the way everything fell into place and how Chase put everyone together like he has. So we're all excited. I mean, every single person involved in this, I know all the lead actors are super, super excited. Dave Schechter is another friend, has become a friend because I've worked with him quite a bit as well. And he's actually got this great attorney look. And there's an attorney I'm meeting with in the movie, and he's playing the attorney. And I love that as well, that he came on board with us too. So great cast.
So this is going to be a good movie.
I think so.
Wow. Just hearing about it right now, I already want to watch it.
Totally believe in this movie, like so much. And I'm excited for any project I work on, especially excited when I get to work with friends over and over. Like I've worked with Michael and Sunny Mayhall on several films. And they're like what we call the kings of Indiegogo, because they've just raised so much money. And but they're great producers, and they're great at distribution and getting things out there, and they are very appreciative to their crew. And so I've learned a lot working with them for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely going to be a great movie. I'm super excited.
Awesome. One more time, the name of the movie?
A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
That's just a good title of a movie too.
Yep.
It's like, I want to see this. I want to see if this good girl is what happens. Something's gonna happen. I know it.
Hi,
Everybody.
Andrew.
Andrew Thomas, hey guys, and beautiful director. Well, you must be the beautiful director. Of course, you're the director, producer, and actress.
Maybe
You do
it's
a
you.
lot. No. Dawn Hinton is excited. Is Dawn in this movie, or as a fan, a friend?
Yeah, Dawn is a fan / become a friend through social media kind of thing. And you know, we have a lot of that, like in the horror genre. You know, there's a lot of fans that we get to know, especially if you're like, I try to be very, very personable on social media, you know, and I try to thank anybody and comment unless I realize it's a stalker. And
Yeah.
a lot of that. And I never thought I would have that at this age, especially, but I have a lot of weirdo stalkers that I have to block.
Really?
So there's that too. So,
So are these like stalkers that want to marry you and you want to have their kids and all that kind of stalker?
there's all kinds of crazy ones, you know, and then there are some that, you know, haven't really gotten to the point of being considered a legitimate actor, I would say. And that's the nice way of putting it. They're not doing any work. They're not going to acting classes. They're just thinking they can just contact me and get in a film and being a lead role and whatever. And then I have people that get angry because I'm like, well, tell me a little bit about you, or tell me, you know, because I'll ask. And there's a lot of moms that have always messaged me and say, how can I get my daughter into acting? Or, you know, I watched your interview on this and my child really wants to be an actor, but I'm really leery about it. So, I mean, I have those conversations with people I don't know. Like, I give advice, you know, and I can say, this is what I found worked and doesn't work. But if it's, again, it tends to be, it's been more men of all ages that have gotten psycho with me, because I don't know, they'll approach me and they'll either like be really flirty or, you know, just and of course the not so fun pictures that you get, you know, I mean, there's crazy stuff. But it you know, and that again, it's not going to make me stop communicating with people like Dawn, for instance. You know, it's a matter of just block and move on. I've learned over the years, just block and move on. You know,
gotcha. So you'll talk to the people who are sincere of what they want to talk to you about, or just fans or whatever. But if people are just being obnoxious and
if I can, you know, there are things I can't talk about, you know, like what I auditioned for today, you know, and things like that. Like, I worked on a big television series, my goal television series to work on, and I didn't tell anybody about it. Like, I couldn't, like, I had an ironclad NDA from a major studio. And so I had to wait until that episode aired, you know, to say anything. And then it's a good thing I didn't, because my scene did not make it to. And that's happened to me more times than I can count. And that's part of the business. You know, afterwards you can still say, okay, you know, like when I got that check and it had the name of the television show on it. Like, I took a picture. It wasn't the amount. I just took a picture to show what it was. And I sent it to like my closest friends. Like, BJ knew about it, for instance, you know, but there were just a select few that knew I worked on it.
Just to know that you were there, even though if you didn't make the cut.
Hey, I auditioned and I got on that show, you know, over who knows how many thousands of people. So that was you know, that was a celebratory thing for me, you know. So yeah, because people had kind of wondered like why I wasn't back in LA when I was supposed to be, because I'm back and forth between Dallas and LA. Yes. So they had kind of wondered like, why did you at the last minute like postpone your trip by 3 or 4 days and miss this like event that we kind of expected you to be at? And I couldn't tell them. You couldn't
tell them that
I couldn't tell them. Yeah.
I get you. I got you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Don says, I've been a horror fan since I was 5 years old, and I saw Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that. It's so funny. People like Dawn, like
Yes.
I don't know these horror films like these people. Like it's, I know the classic, what I call the classics, like the 80s for me.
Okay.
I think the farthest I go back is probably Exorcist, like I don't know these horror movies like a lot of people do.
Hush, is that like an old movie? I've never heard of it either.
I think so. Dawn isn't, Betty Davis.
Betty Davis.
Yeah. It's a really old one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to have to go back at some point and watch these old Betty Davis movies because I actually am a fan of Betty Davis. So it amazes me because like I can't hold up in conversations about horror movies sometimes. You want to talk, like I said, the 80s.
80s.
I grew, I was a kid in the 80s. So I grew up, Nightmare on Elm Street, some of the Jaws. What else? All the Chucky movies, so
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that wasn't my favorite though. I wasn't real into Friday the 13th. I wasn't into Halloween either. Like really just wasn't my thing. I think Friday the 13th, it kind of had some humor with it too, just like Child's Play had humor.
Yeah.
So throwing those smart ass lines out there.
Yeah.
I'm a little sassy. I like stuff like that.
Well, how about like when did Tremors come out? Was that in the 80s or 90s?
That.
Was that 90s or 80s?
It might have been the 90s. It might have been.
There's a lot of them.
There are a lot of Tremors. Those are fun too, though. So stuff like that's fun. But the stuff I really like with horror is, and I've said this over and over, people that watch me are gonna be so tired of hearing it. I love, again, the more psychological things or the things that are with religion and horror. Like those are the things that creep me out, or like so The Conjuring scares the hell out of me. The things like The Conjuring, The Nun, and then things like The Ring. And I tell everyone one of my favorite movies is actually Mama with Jessica Chastain. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen that one.
I didn't hear about it for years after it was made, and it's now one of my favorite movies. And because it's the whole psychological play on what's real, what's not real. Like, is there really, is there something haunting or what's the word, spiritual or paranormal or whatever going on? Or is this little girl truly disturbed from the trauma? So there's all of that. And and the story takes you back and forth where you're like, oh, something really spooky is going on versus no, she's really traumatized. So I like the psychological films like that.
And it's called Mommy?
Mama.
Oh, Mama. What am I thinking? Mama, that's a whole different movie.
Yeah, it's really freaky. It's really freaky.
Mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ending stays with you. And that's another thing. And that's something I say about movies I will be directing. Just like, my movie Hair of the Dog that I directed. That's the kind of thing I want to direct. Anything I do, if it's kind of in the horror world, especially, I want it more psychological. I want it because I think our minds can take us to a whole different place versus it's kind of like once you see the creature, you now know what it's about, Yes. So I don't see it. I like twists and turns. I like things that aren't linear. It doesn't start here and end here all in order. So I like things that like start like, and that's another thing about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It starts with the ending and then it stops and it takes you through the story and then it has the ending play out. So you really know what happened. And I love it.
You really got to watch it. You really got to watch movies like that, which is good, right? You got to piece it together and all that good stuff.
Hold your interest. You know what I'm saying? And
do.
Back and forth. And the things that are giving you little clues if you're paying attention. But if you're not paying attention, or maybe those clues are taking you one way and then you find out it's going to go another way.
God, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
No, those are good ones. Those are good ones.
Yeah, that's the kind of things that I like. I love that film. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how do people, if they want to get a taste of your acting and your directing and all that, movies that are already out that you're in, that people can actually see you act in, and then, like you said, movies that you've directed or produced that are already out that people can check you out before they go see this new one that's going to come out that everybody wants to see?
Okay, so the most recent ones that I have that are out are Bermuda Island, which is directed by Adam Worth, who is amazing. He is one of my favorite directors to work with, and produced by Michael and Sunny Mayhall, and several other friends were involved as producers, including BJ Mezek. So we have and cinematographer Michael Sue, who is just the expert in his craft. Like, he is one of the best out there. So we have Bermuda Island that's out, and it's just the scenery alone is gorgeous, and it stars Sarah French, one of my friends, who I've seen over and over. I'm always the supporting; she's always the lead.
Oh, but you're in it though, right?
Yeah, I am in it.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
And I play a very, a different character, a very bitchy Karen in the movie. Very bitchy, but it's kind of what is that, Dr. Moreau's Island, something like that, like which I don't even think I've seen, but people said it kind of has that feel. So it's basically it's a plane crash. They land on an island. It's very similar, play on a little Bermuda Triangle kind of thing, and there ends up being creatures on the island. So it's the survival of these people on the island kind of thing. And it's got badass creatures, great stunt team. And then let's see, before that, we had Night of the Tommyknockers that came out. That stars Richard Grieco. We have Tom Sizemore in both of those movies, by the way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What is it called? What's that movie called again?
So the first one was Bermuda Island. That's the one that just came out recently. Most frequently released.
Okay.
And then I have a little bit bigger role in that one. And then before that was Night of the Tommyknockers. And what I love, this is another one I love. I love horror westerns because I love horror and I love westerns. And you put them together, and it's just a lot of fun, to me. So that's a horror western. It stars Richard Grieco. Actually, again, BJ Mezek, throw his name out there again. Jessica Morris, who is amazing. She was on, I'm not sure which soap it was, because if it was Days of Our Lives or what, but she was on a daytime drama for years, and she does a lot of, I think it's Lifetime, and she's like, I love her. Like, we shared a place in Vegas during filming, and just adore her. She's a wonderful actress, and she writes and produces as well. Angela Cole is adorable in it. She's amazing. So yeah, it's got a great cast, and it's fun, and it's got creatures in it. Again, they're great at creatures. They have great special effects makeup artists, and people that mold and design these creatures. So let's see, Tom Devlin and his team, like Monster Museum in Vegas, they did the creatures for Bermuda Island, and then Guastini, I think I said that right. He did the creatures for Night of the Tommyknockers. So the creatures are cool. They're cool. Really cool. And then in Night of the Tommyknockers, I actually play a brothel girl. And it's kind of a campy character, because it's like all these people are getting killed, and I'm just going about business.
Doing your thing. You know what? That movie sounds familiar. You said it was with Richard Grieco, and I remember. Yeah. I don't know if we were trying to get him on the show or something was going on. I remember he was doing a movie, and he was in a Western getup, and it was maybe a year, couple years. I don't know. It was a while back.
It was a couple years.
And then so maybe that's why it's ringing a bell now that
because he's on the cover of the DVD as well, if you look. Okay. So there's another movie I did. It's been a few years or so ago, but it's out. It's called Amityville Moon, and that was directed by Thomas Churchill. And I mean, it was cool for me because, like, Church, as we call him, he wrote it, and he wrote it for me to have a role in it. So he wrote me to be a very sassy, always wanting to get in a fight girl from Texas. So I'm, and I'm from Texas. So he's like, I want you to really throw that accent out there, just over the top. So, I mean, and it's like a bunch of troubled girls / women in a church, an old church, and they're supposed to be going through this therapy, whatever, and ends up being that, one of the people in there ends up being a werewolf. So, you got the whole the whole in the church, and then the whole, again, there's background story, and it does the switching back and forth. So it kind of does the same where it starts at the end and then works through the movie, and then you get to see the whole story play out. And it does flashbacks, which I always think flashbacks are cool too. So that's out as well.
Cool.
There's another movie that actually got theatrical release that comes out in June. I have a very small role in that. I play a nurse, but I also worked crew on that. And it's called Devil Row, Reaux, Devil Row. And Vincent Ward from The Walking Dead plays Devil Row. And it also has Tony Todd in it, the Candyman. And it happens to be released the same time Candyman's being released in theaters. So that's super, super cool. Yeah, we're super excited. Krista Grata Saxon, I love her to pieces. She's also in it. And she's great. She's great to work with. And she shared the trailer, and it was the first, I guess it's being released in Germany first because the trailer's in German and it's on my social media. So if you go to any of my social media, which is in my name, exactly how it looks here.
Sheri Davis. Okay.
Sheri has one R and an I, or you go to Sheri Davis Actress on Facebook. I have a Sheri. It's like Sheri.Davis54 is my main page I'm on. And I have Sheri Davis Actress that I post more just acting stuff on there. And then Instagram, Sheri.Davis. I've given them all, and Steve's been great. He's been posting them. So if you go to any of our social media, you'll be able to see all of that. And IMDb as well. You're talking about what movies I have out, where to see them. You click on those on IMDb, and it'll take you to the platforms they're playing on. Very
cool. Yes, I'm going to check out a couple of those movies.
So if you have Tubi, a lot of those things are on Tubi now, so you can watch them for free. Amazon Prime is another big one. So most of these things are out. Night of the Tom. Augie Duke is great. Yes, we can't leave Augie Duke out. Augie Duke is in Amityville Moon. And you guys remember Augie? She was Bad Kids Go to Hell. She was the bad girl in Bad Kids Go to Hell back in the day.
Okay.
And I adore Augie. She's a friend as well. But she's great at that. Krista
Grata Saxon.
Yeah.
Go to her YouTube.
Yep. If you go to her YouTube, she's phenomenal. She actually is she's so fit and so tiny, and she's actually a professional pole dancer. So, I mean, where they do competitions and they're just beautiful and graceful to watch.
Yes.
And so she's got a YouTube where she does that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Very, very cool. So everybody can go get a taste of you in your past movies. They can just go to your, okay. I'm very bad at this. When you go check out an actor's when you Google it, it's called the
It's International Movie Database.
IMDb.
That Amazon actually runs. It's a part of Amazon. So it's IMDb. So
I always get the last two flipped.
Yeah, I am, and then D is in dog, B is in boy.
IMDb.
International
that has
Database.
all your stuff that your past that you've done. Nothing in the future, right? It's only.
I'm not going to say all because I had another page and they've never been merged. But it has all the most recent things are on there. And then there are other things that aren't out yet. Like there was a movie I did with Judd Nelson years ago that is still in post, for instance,
Oh, wow.
And that was fun too, because they made a character for me and her name is Dallas, so it's
fit you, huh?
Right. And that's the thing. Like if people hear me talk, they're like, ooh, I don't want that Southern accent in there. And then I start talking and they're like, oh, it's not always there. And I'm like, no,
you can change it.
It's like if I've been in Texas, like I am right now, I'm in Texas, and I've been around, my Texas people, or I go to Mississippi a lot, and their dialect's a whole nother thing. And that's considered deep South. That's a accent. So if I'm around that, you tend to pick up what you're around by hearing it. And so my accent will be worse. And then I'll be like, okay, I can't talk to you for a few days because I have like this coming up, and just hearing it, I say it, I mimic it.
It's
but
kind of like, yeah, that's the way it works when
you
you're around
have
it all the
to be
time.
able to turn it off. You have to. But the one thing I can say is, as actors, the Southern accents, people think they can just do them, but like when you're from the South, you know the difference. You know which words are drug out a little longer, or how we say y'all, or
Uh-huh.
like somebody on my Facebook was saying, how do you say you all with y'all? And I was like, well, you can say y'all all or all of y'all. Like, I mean, there's,
Oh, wow. Well, I guess there's different ways to say it, huh?
right, right.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so before we do get out of here, why don't you the movie that you're really excited about,
Yes.
and I love the title of it. Why don't you tell everybody one more time where they could? Well, that's all that is it called Indigo page or
Indie,
Indiegogo?
Indiegogo. Yes.
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. Yes.
Okay.
It's a great platform for independent filmmakers to raise the funds to shoot their movies. And
Okay.
it's really gotten it's a great thing if it's done properly. If you're a professional and you learn how to do this and you communicate with people well and you keep up with things well, it's a great platform. I feel like it's gotten a really bad reputation the past few years, because there have been people that have used it and then they don't make the film, or you see the film and it's not so great and you're like, there's no way they spent that money on that. Where did that money
Yeah.
go? And then it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating too if your name is listed as an actor and then you find out that's happened. Like I have a friend that's an actress who's known for everything and everybody knows her and loves her, but I'm just thinking, girl, you've been attached to all these things and you're not speaking out. For me personally, if I was attached to something and I knew that was happening, I would speak out.
Yes.
That's me. I couldn't have it on my conscience otherwise.
So, like you're going to be part of this movie, and
Mhm.
so if I was just looking from the outside, I'm not an actor, but if I was, and I'm like what you just described, if it's you're going to put money towards it because hey, this sounds like a great movie, and I love the actors that are in it. The
Right.
story sounds good. If I'm an actor in it and I'm tied to that, I'm going to make sure that I'm
Exactly.
promoting it and make sure it gets as much money as it can, so it's a good flick.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. I mean, the saying teamwork makes the dream work. It's so true. It's so true. Like, I came from a management background in a medical device company. And I mean,
Okay.
I built my teams. I put my teams together. And that's the thing I say all the time. If you're in a place being a producer or director, you put your team together. You need to be able to trust your team, and you need to all be working together towards a greater goal of success in whatever it is you're doing. So that's the team that we have with this. And I can't say that that's a super common thing that I have found in indie film. There tends to be a lot of drama, not on camera, but behind the camera.
I hear you. But this one, it's a good team together. You got a
It
good
really
team.
is. It's a great team. Everybody truly likes one another and supports one another. Like when we're doing these interviews, if we're not like, Ariana and Johnny, if they're doing interviews, if I can't be there to watch their interview at the time, I will
Yes.
watch the interview as soon as I can and make sure
Oh.
I'm commenting and sharing it. Or if they tag it to be on my page, once I go through all the gazillion things I'm tagged on, if I can share it when I find it, I'll share it on my page as well. So everyone's really supportive of one another.
Pushing,
you're going to
pushing each other.
you're going to have much better success like that. So
That's how it works. You got it. That's the more people putting it out there and talking about it and supporting each other.
right.
It gets out.
So if you want to support the film and the Indiegogo, all you got to do is you can go to Indiegogo to the entertainment section, or I think it might say TV film. Not super sure, but you can go on there and find A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and you can find it, or you can go to our social media, my social media, or Chase Dudley's, and you can find all of the link. My social media has the Indiegogo page in my bio. Very easy to find. So you can click on it right away. We have different perks. Like if you're wanting to buy like an autographed DVD, autographed poster, there's a bundle pack on there where you get all kinds of things like that. then if you're interested in being a producer on one of our films, you can come in as an associate producer, a co-producer, or an executive producer level as well. And
Pretty cool.
right. So there's all kinds of perks on there. If you just want to give $5, every dollar helps. You don't have to buy a perk. You can if you go to the Indiegogo and you scroll past over all the way to the right to where the I guess on here it's this way.
Yeah.
But if you scroll all the way over, there's a little section that says donation or contribution, and you can literally put $5 in there. Now, the trick to that is with Indiegogo, they will automatically always put a tip in when you buy anything through Indiegogo. All you got to do is when they add a tip, let's say they add $5 tip, you just make 5 a 0. And then you're not charged an extra whatever they try to charge you. That's just the way they make even more money. So that's a way that you get out of paying, more money. If you want to put $5 in, you can put $5 in. There are also things like special thank you on IMDb in the movie. That's not very much. So things like that are kind of cool too. You can just say, but every dollar helps us get the film made. And to say, hey, I helped that film get made, and I helped these people make this film that they were all so excited to make. I mean, that's a great thing. How does that not make you feel good at the end of the day?
Of course. Even if your name's at the end of the movie or something somewhere where,
right. Yeah.
At least it's there and you could go, hey, look. Yeah.
And I've contributed to several campaigns like myself for that reason. I believe in the filmmaker. I know what it's like as an indie filmmaker, or as being more known as an indie actress. Or, I know someone struggles behind the scenes of trying to get this made over the years, whatever. If it's somebody I want to help, I'll throw a little money in myself here and there. I've contributed to several campaigns myself,
Yes. Then that is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Supporting, especially if you know how it is. Trying to get a movie made and have the funds come in so you can make that movie as good as possible, with those funds and all that good stuff. Right.
And the cool thing about that, if you come in as a producer, you're listed in the credits and you're listed on IMDb. So you would have, if you don't already have an IMDb page, you're getting producer credits on a movie that is going to be out there. So that's a cool way for those people that have like, oh, I've always wanted to be involved in making movies, or, and now I'm this age, or this is my life, but it would be so cool just to see my name on a movie.
You can see it on the IMDb, right?
Yeah.
All right. Sheri. Well, Good Girls Guide to Murder. This is the movie that's going to be, y'all are going to be working on here in a month or two.
Yep.
And hopefully it's done by the end of the year, but if not, I'm sure it'll be sometime next year.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to it. And I will post the Indiegogo thing on our page and help out the best we can over here.
Cool.
And if there's anything else you need us to do, just give us a message and we'll do the best we can.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
And yes, I'm gonna make sure that I sit down and watch some of these movies you said that you're in. I see them here in the post. Dawn was nice enough to type them all in for me.
Wow.
So I will make sure and sit down and watch a few of them to get ready for this Good Girls Guide to Murder. I'm excited.
Yes. We're all excited.
Yes. And I'm going to check out who's the producer again, and then the director, the ones. Oh my God, you told me his name, but give me some of the people that are working on the movie again. On this movie? On this one coming, you guys are going to start shooting.
So Chase Dudley is the director.
Samantha
Dudley is the producer. BJ Messick came in. He's a producer, and he's also acting in it opposite of me.
Okay.
Some scenes. Dave Schechter is playing the attorney. Bill Oberst Jr. If you do not know Bill, Bill is an incredible actor. I've wanted to work with him for the past 10 years. We happen to have the same manager, but he's known for theater, he's known for television, and he's known for film. He does it all. He is one of the most talented actors I know. You have to. Everyone's got films out there. BJ's involved in a lot of different things. Like me, he wears a lot of different hats because he produces and works crew, as well as acting. And his background was actually kind of the music business, and he's been in law enforcement. Like he's like me, where he's had other lives as well.
Well, hey, you're all together now, right?
Right. Yeah. And my friend Angela Joseph also came in as a producer. She's one of our partners in crime, and she produces a lot of films too, including the Mayhall films, Michael and Sonny Mayhall. She helps on those too. So we have a good team, and we have a good team and people who genuinely like one another and are looking forward to working together again. And like you see, we're all super excited about the film, and that's why we're all working hard to promote it as well.
Very cool. It's a house. It's what was that? I was getting ready to say the title of the movie, and Donna says it's a housewife's dream. That's not the title. That's not the title, people. Good Girl's Guide to Murder,
Yes.
starring Sheri Davis and a lot of other cool actors
Yes.
and directors and producers and all that. And
Mhm.
it'll be out soon. So I'm going to post that Indiegogo
Yes.
page on our page.
Follow
And,
my page, because I have another film we'll be starting pre-production on as well that we're keeping very, very quiet right now, but we'll probably do another Indiegogo for that as well. So there's lots of opportunities.
Very cool. Follow Sheri Davis on Facebook, and you spell her name Sheri
One R-I.
Davis. Follow her on Facebook, and you also have like a public figure page. Is it Sheri Davis, right? Actress?
Sheri Davis actress.
Sheri Davis actress. And then if you could,
Twitter is at the Sheri Davis. TikTok, I think, is Sheri Davis official. I've got to get more active on TikTok. Got to get up with the times.
you do.
I
I will
know.
post what I can because I have all your stuff. I'll repost it in this chat of the stream, and the stream after we're done here. You can share the stream anywhere you want. It's available right off the bat. So it'll be here. It's on YouTube. The podcast will be all over podcast platforms. So anybody that's listening, it'll get this interview today. We'll get out what everything that you talked about and we talked with you about. And we'll do our best to help you promote this movie and anything else that you're going to be working on in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, 80 Sheri, it's good to
Oh,
see
no.
you. I love the hair. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool.
Thanks. Yeah.
Give me a flashback of the ladies I used to date back in the day.
I'm telling you.
That was the stuff.
This is between the 80s punk and the cowgirl hair back in the day.
That's right. Hey, you don't see that no more. That's classic. That was classic.
Coming back. I'm seeing
You
it
think
more.
so?
I think the natural curl, because I actually was on set. There was a girl that got a perm, and I was like, a perm? I haven't heard of it. She goes, yeah, the curly thing's back in. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to have any problem with that because my hair's curly.
Yeah, there was a time even dudes were getting perms, huh? Remember that? Everybody was.
The rocker guys,
Right.
that's what I had playing while I was getting ready for this, was like the hair metal.
How cool. Awesome. Sheri Davis, everybody go follow her everywhere on all social media platforms. If not, just Google her and I'm sure you can find everything.
Awesome.
Sheri, thank you, Sheri.
Much. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Sheri Davis. Make sure to go check out her film she's going to be working on, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. All right. Too cool. So I love the title of that movie, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That's just really cool. All right, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Sheri. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see here. We will be back next week, of course. Let me see here. I need to see this right here. Yes. We do like to thank, let me pull this up real quick. We'd like to thank Sheri Davis for coming on the show today. We have our Alberto, Alyssa, and Eddie are off today. I wish they could have been here with me to talk to Sheri because that was a really good interview. And they should be back next week. So next week we'll be back on Thursday, same time, same place. For our podcast people who are going to listen to us, thanks for tuning in. Spread the word. We're on all platforms, Apple Music and Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. Tell everybody about the M25 Show. Our live streamers. Just go to the m25show.com and all the links are there where you can watch our live show and you can listen to our podcast. And just spread the word about our show. And make sure to go check out Sheri Davis. Check her out. Google her, and you can see everything that her I am. Let me see. Let me read this right before. Let me see. IMDb. Sheri Davis, her IMDb. And you can see her past work. And I think things she's working on. So check her out. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We will be back next Thursday. And same place, same time. And thanks for tuning in today. We are going to get out of here. If I could find it. Here we go. Okay, everybody take care. We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.
Memories in high school flames, some good, some bad. Can you remember their names? Light up a smoke on Pomona Street with the long hair rockers. Oh, the memories. Classic cars, big tits and bars, drinking all night like rock and roll stars. When I play that song, don't it take you back? I got a Fullerton